everyone, welcome back to my channel, and if you are new, thank you so much for stopping by. Please hit the subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, it really supports me. And if you don't know, my name is Marla. I am a holistic nutrition student. I should be graduating in a couple months, and today I just want to talk about junk food and how I stopped eating junk food and being addicted to junk food, and what I did to just stop wanting it and thinking of it. When you transition from a very junk food filled lifestyle to a more healthy lifestyle, that constant image is, at least for me, that constant image was always in my mind of burgers and fries and chips and candy and chocolate and drinks like slushies and Slurpees or pop. They were always in my mind, and I was always like, I don't think I can do this because I want to have all that bad food. And people don't realize, but junk food is a drug. It contains sugar, and sugar has the same, it creates the same reaction in your brain as taking actual drugs or actual alcohol. It has the same addicting reaction in the brain. And if you're used to eating it for such a long time, you are definitely addicted to it. And it's not something easy that you can just get off of, and it doesn't happen overnight. It's something that you're gonna actually go through withdrawal, and everyone usually does. Unless you're on a really good detox protocol, you usually are going to go through withdrawal symptoms of stomach pains and headaches and all sorts of things. And that's just because you are coming off an addictive substance, and it will take time, and you are going to have relapses. There's going to be times where you're doing really good and all of a sudden you binge eat, or you go and eat something you shouldn't and then you feel guilty. And there's going to be times where you're just going to be thinking of it all the time and think that I want to stop. So I'm going to just share with you my tips that helped me get through it, and just kind of tell you what I did to not crave it anymore. And now, if you ask me honestly, do I ever crave junk food? Do I ever just want to go grab a Kit Kat from the shelf or have chocolate milk, etc.? It's honestly no. I do not crave it, and I do not want it. And if you put a buffet of junk food out for me, I just wouldn't be interested in it anymore. I do like sweet foods, but I crave healthy junk food, like healthy ice cream, or if I make it myself, or healthy cake and things like that. I honestly don't crave junk food anymore, and it took me so long to get to this point, because if you know anything about me, you know I was severely addicted to junk food and had a very unhealthy past, especially when it came to food and drinks. So hopefully you can take my tips and incorporate them into your own life, and I really hope that they work for you. So let's get started. So my first and most important tip is to be prepared. So first of all, if you are going from a junk food lifestyle to a healthier lifestyle, be prepared. Know that there are going to be so many bumps in the road, and that there, like I said, it's going to be withdrawal symptoms, and that you are going to crave these foods so bad, and you're going to hate your life for a while. Know this and be aware of it, so that you're not shocked or surprised when you do start craving these foods. And another thing, know that there are going to be times when you're going to mess up. Try your hardest, do the best you can, but there are going to be times, until you are fully on the path and fully detoxed of junk food, know that there are going to be times where you are going to relapse and eat something you shouldn't, because we're human and sometimes we just give in, and that's okay. Just get back on track and continue. So the most important tip is to just be prepared and just know what to expect. Don't go into this blindly and thinking that you're gonna just change overnight, you're gonna become healthier, you're gonna lose all this weight, you're gonna cleanse, because it doesn't work like that. It takes time, especially if you've been eating this type of food for a while. So just be mindful, and like I said, be prepared, and just know what to expect. And there are a lot of videos on YouTube of people talking about their withdrawal symptoms from sugar and things like that. You can go watch these videos and see what people went through, so you know what to expect. So that's my first tip. My second tip is to have a good setup and know what your favorite junk foods are and how to make them in a healthy way. So for example, when I was transitioning into the healthy living and stuff, some of my favorite junk food was, number 1 was chocolate, number 2 was ice cream, number 3 was pizza. So those were my top. So what I did was I just kept practicing and practicing to make these junk foods healthier, and I kept trying out recipes until I found one that was perfect and exactly the way I liked it. Now, living a healthy life means, at least to me, means really low sugar and not an excessive amount of grains and things like that. But when you are transitioning from sugar and junk food to health, don't think so much about I'm not gonna have any sugar, I need to make a sugar-free recipe, I need to make grain-free recipe. Instead of doing that, think more of quality. So instead of saying I'm going sugar-free from the get-go, say I'm going cane sugar, from cane sugar to honey, so I'm going cane sugar-free. Or instead of saying I'm gonna go grain-free, say I'm going from gluten to gluten-free, but still eat everything else. And from there, work and improve and progress until you are grain-free or whatever your goal is. So don't try to go from having so much sugar to nothing, because that is setting yourself up for failure, and you will come crashing down and you will go binge eat, and that is just, you know, that's just as bad. So start slow, take your time. It's okay to have sugar in the beginning. You've already have, from eating a lot of sugar, you've already built up, you know, the bad bacteria in your gut and stuff. So this isn't something that's going to change overnight. This is something that you're going to take your time with, and just making these small changes is already going to improve your health. So I hope that makes sense. So find your favorite recipes, make sure you like them, and then my tip, I guess, so tip number 2 would be to have them in your freezer or your fridge ready to go. Once you're ready to start the phase of transitioning, know that you have that clean chocolate in your freezer, or that homemade ice cream, or if you can find store-bought ice cream that's clean, have that. Or your pizza, find your good pizza dough. There are so many companies right now that sell gluten-free pizza dough mixes. All you do is you just pretty much add water and I think like a little bit of oil, roll it out, and you've got your healthy pizza dough. So if you do that, then you just put any toppings you want and you're good to go. So have these things in your cupboard or in your fridge or in your freezer. There are gummy bears you can buy if you're addicted to candy. There's some gummy bears you can buy that have like 2 grams of sugar. They're called Smart Sweets, and those can be a good, you know, like swap, have lots of those in your cupboard. So I hope this makes sense, but pretty much have your favorite junk foods that you know you usually tend to fall back on. Like if you want to have a cheat meal, you usually go for those. Those are what you're gonna have in your fridge and freezer. If you're like a burger person, like my husband is so into burgers, what we did for him was we would have lots of burgers, because burgers are not bad. It's the way that they're made is when they're bad. So we would have good quality grass-fed burger patties, and I would get gluten-free bun, and we would have those in our fridge and freezer. So as soon as he's like, I need a burger, I'll throw, you know, the burger together. We'll get some onion, throw all that on there, and he's good to go. So that's pretty much what I'm saying, is just be prepped and be prepared. My next tip is, when you start the phase, make sure you don't go hungry. So if you know that you're going to be out of the house for a few hours, say you're shopping or you're going to be at school or at a meeting, or working, etc., make sure you have snacks on hand with you that are, you know, clean, that work for whatever lifestyle you're choosing, whether it's paleo or keto, whatever that is. Make sure you have those snacks ready to go and in your purse or in your car or in your locker, in your backpack, so that you don't let yourself get hungry. I find personally that when I'm hungry, I fall back on anything in sight, whether it's chips or chocolate or anything. I just be like, I need food, and I'll start stuffing my face with things that are bad for me. Not anymore. Now I have self-control because I've worked so hard and built up to it. But during that transition phase, I would fall back on anything if I was hungry. And as soon as hunger hit, it was game over for me if I didn't have something healthy to grab instantly and eat it. So definitely have, you know, foods, you know, with you, whether you're out of the house or even in the house. Have food prepared in your fridge so you can just eat right away. There's something called dysglycemia. It's when you have like an imbalance in your blood sugar. As soon as you get hungry and your blood sugar drops, you're gonna start getting crazy symptoms like hunger pains, headaches, lots of growling, you get dizzy and faint. So that's when you tend to just start grabbing for, you know, anything that can satisfy your hunger. But if it's the wrong choices, like really sugary foods, it's going to create more of those spikes, and you're going to be doing this all day. So make sure you have those healthy snacks on hand, so when you do get that hunger signal or hunger warning, you can just eat it and you're good, and your blood sugar levels will be more stable. So it's a huge tip for me. The next tip is to go and have a cheat meal. So when you're starting out in this healthy lifestyle, or this healthy journey, you can't, at least in my opinion, I don't think it'll work. You can't go from, you know, used to having your cheat meals to all of a sudden having nothing. I found that now I don't do cheat meals anymore. Like I don't go out for pizza anymore or burgers, because I like the way I live now, and I know that they just hurt me if I eat them. But I do go out for like healthy junk food. Like I'll go out for like Thai food or something if it's gluten-free. But before, when I was starting out this phase and gluten-free phase and all that, I did have a cheat meal. Like once a month I would go out and I would eat a pizza, or I would have a donut, because I knew if I didn't, I would crash and go back to my old ways and never come back to the healthy way. So it has to be doable. It has to be something you want to do, but something that you can also do, something that is doable for you, and every person is different. So when you're starting out, I encourage you to do the 80-20 rule. 80% of the time, so usually 6 to 7 days a week, I encourage you to eat clean and healthy and do as good as you can, knowing that on the weekend you're gonna have that cheat meal where you can go out and have a pizza, an actual pizza, or an actual burger, and enjoy it. I'm not saying this is something that to do for the rest of your life, because I do think that these foods are bad for you, but it's something to do until you're used to eating the healthy food and until you stop craving the bad food, if that makes sense. So it's better, in my opinion, to go have a cheat meal once in a while than to just have cheat meals all the time and think that this lifestyle is unachievable for you, if that makes sense. So yeah, have those cheat meals, enjoy it, and know, like, it helped me so much knowing that when the end of the week was gonna come, I was gonna get to go out and have the foods that I love, but then that's it. Then I get back on track until the next week. So you can usually do it any way you want. I found that the better I got at eating healthier and cleaner, the less cheat meals I needed. So I went from having like one cheat meal a week to having one every 2 weeks and once a month, or maybe twice a month max, until maybe once every 2 months, until never having it. So adjust it based on you. And if you are like, no, once a week is that's way too long, I could never go that long, then do a cheat meal twice a week. Do what works for you. But no matter what, do not go from having so much garbage to having nothing, or depriving yourself, because like I said, you will fall back and you will binge eat and you'll just not want to do the healthy lifestyle, and then that is it. So it's better to have those cheat meals and try your hardest than to just, you know, don't make it all or nothing, if that makes sense. I hope it does. So those are like my main tips. So my next tip is to, as much as you can, try to avoid pop and juice and, you know, things like that. I personally I never liked pop. Was like something that I would have only when I was pregnant, when I wanted like the bubbles. But now I just don't ever want pop, and I don't even ever feel like juice either. But I was more into like sugar and chocolates, you know, at that time. But try to avoid the sugary drinks, because those do so much damage. They have absolutely nothing good in it except really bad ingredients, and they acidify the body, and they really cause a lot of problems. So instead of having a pop or juice, drink a lot of water. And then if you anything, have it like that. If you want something sweet, go for the chocolate bar or something, but try to stay away from the juices and the liquids, because you're gonna drink 20 grams of sugar in a cup or whatever, and then you're gonna pee it out within a couple minutes, maybe 15-20 minutes, and then you're gonna want that sugar again, or you're gonna still be hungry, and then you're gonna go for more sugar. So instead, if you know you're gonna have sugar that day, have it in the form of actual like substance, like a burger or a Kit Kat or something that's like actually like you actually consume, because it'll stay in your body a little bit longer, and then just drink a lot of water, if that makes sense. So I never let myself drink the juices and stuff. I would go for more water, and the more water you drink, the more you're gonna flush out the toxins, and the easier it's gonna be to detox, and you're gonna have less withdrawal symptoms if you're drinking more water. Now, that being said, if you are a person where your like fallback or your like drug is pop or juice, then you can't just stop drinking pop. So my recommendation is do the 80-20 with your pop. So if you love having pop and you're used to having 3 cans a day, start by going down to just 1 can a day. And then from there, going down to like maybe 3 cans a week, and then maybe 1 can a week, until you're eventually just not having it. Another thing is they have pop now, and it depends on your taste buds. No matter what, do not go for like the sugar-free pop that is made with aspartame, because that is so bad. Aspartame is a neurotoxin, and it's just, don't touch it. Instead, they do have pop that has stevia in it, and it has like, they have a lot of flavors, and it contains stevia. I personally think it's too strong, and I think that the stevia is like, you can just really taste it, and it just honestly doesn't taste that great. But if it's something that you can handle and you actually enjoy it, then go for it. Take the stevia pop instead of having the sugary pop, until you can just not have it at all. I don't think the stevia pop is healthy, because stevia is really refined, unless you're getting the pure liquids drop stevia. So I don't think you should have the pop long term, but if it's like you need something to swap, do the stevia pop if you can handle it. I think it's called Zevia maybe, or something. But there are options out there. Another tip is, if you really want the bubbles and you're starting to dial back on the sugar, go for kombucha. It tastes so good. There's so much carbonation that it feels like it's pop, and you can get lots of brands that actually are pretty sweet if you really need that sweetness, but it's a much healthier option than regular pop, because it actually creates an alkaline ash in the body. It's cleansing, and it has probiotics in it. So it's definitely a healthy swap. And then my last tip is to find healthy swaps for the things that you love. So for example, I used to love chewing gum, and I would go get the, what are they called? Double Bubble or something, like those cheap, super sweet, like chewy gum. That's what I would like love to have all the time. So instead of doing that, I started looking for a healthier gum, and I found a company called Pure, where they just do, Pure, and there's a few other ones, I don't remember the names, but it's pretty much just like stevia, and like they have pomegranate flavored gum, they have bubblegum flavored gum and stuff, so they're so good, but you're not getting all that sugar and chemicals that you would be getting in normal gum or aspartame. So I would find healthy swaps. I loved having chocolate, but I realized that like I obviously can't have that much chocolate, so I would make my own at home. Or I loved having fudgesicles. Like those were like, oh my gosh, in the summer I would crush those. So I made my own, and they have a recipe on my YouTube channel a ways back. Actually, I think it's on my main channel, Marla E Show. But I made fudgesicles. They taste so good, you would never ever know the difference, and you can see in the video, like they're creamy and they're so good, but they're a healthy swap. And same with chips. Like if chips are your downfall, instead of eating chips that are like deep fried in canola oil, which are so bad and like inflammatory, go for chips that are organic, first of all, so you're not getting pesticides, and that are fried in coconut oil or avocado oil. I promise you, there is no flavor difference. If you take a Lay's chip and a regular chip and eat them, you will not know, like not a regular chip, a chip with organic coconut oil or something, you will not know the difference. I promise you. The only difference is like they're a different shape or like a different cut. That's it. There is no difference. They still have salt, but they have sea salt rather than like a high sodium junky salt. And they're actually usually cheaper, a lot cheaper than Lay's and those other companies. So find the healthy swaps and go for those. If you love having those like really, there's a train. I live near trains, I live near cars, there's motorcycles, there's everything here. If you're one of those people that like to have like those granola bars that are like caramel and coated in chocolate and like not healthy, they're almost like just eating a chocolate bar. If those are like your thing, you can make granola bars at home that are like similar flavors like chocolate and caramel, but they're gonna be much healthier. There's lots of recipes on Pinterest. Or you could go to the store and buy granola bars that have every flavor you could think of. There's like chocolate mint and like lemon meringue pie, and there's so many good flavors, but they're much healthier because they have a lot less sugar at least. So like I said, find the swaps, ignore the trains, and find what are your favorite foods and find healthy alternatives. Even if you're like, I need a pizza and you can't excuse me, you can't hold on anymore, you need that pizza, go to your store, your favorite pizza place, but they usually do gluten-free pizza, so see if you can get a gluten-free. At least it's like a little bit better. So make the swaps, find your favorite ways to make your favorite foods, but change them up. And over time, you'll find that it just gets easier and easier to stay away from the junky foods and want and crave the more healthy foods. So those are my main tips. I know this video was crazy all over the place, and I know I was talking fast. That's a big problem I have. I always try to talk slow and I just fail. But I am in a rush too, so I do gotta go. But I hope you enjoy these tips, and I hope they're tips you'll incorporate. Like I said, it is not an easy journey. Expect to fall off the wagon many, many, many times along the way. And if you do, don't stress, like do not. And one other tip, if you are to have junk food, if you're gonna go for that cheat meal, take digestive enzymes with you. It's at least gonna help kind of reduce a little bit of the damage anyways. But yeah, just enjoy the journey, because once you actually reach the finish line, like where I am at now, where I just don't crave that junk food or those drugs anymore, you'll be like, the accomplishment you're gonna feel is gonna be incredible. So enjoy the journey and remember every step of it so you can actually remember how far you've come. And there are gonna be withdrawal symptoms, you're gonna have pain, you're gonna have headaches, but if you stick with it, they're gonna go away, I promise, and then you'll feel so much better. And you'll slowly start craving those kind of foods. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you give these tips a try. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe down below if you are new to my channel, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.